Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. This morning I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Jordan Publishing. It's one of a series of books that we've reviewed, and it's from APIL, the Association of Personal Injury Lawyers, and they produce a number of guides. This one is a guide to costs and funding, and it's looking specifically at personal injury matters. This is the book here. Jordan's have, as usual, produced a really excellent book. It's been written by Gary Barker, Mark Harvey and David Marshall. That's the book here. That's the back of it. You've got some idea of what's in it. And you can see the layout. It's quite a useful index, which is at the back. And then what you've got are a number of appendices, which are extremely useful when you're doing calculations, I hasten to add, concerning regulations. You've also got useful paragraph numbering at the sides and, of course, detailed footnotes, which again are very helpful. This is very much a hands-on book, one that I'm very pleased to say is around, because this does help us immensely with this type of work. That's the information about the association. And you can see it's quite a lot of information about it. I'm sure many people will be well aware of the APIL. There's a preface which is always worth reading, and then you've got the various chapter headings here. There's the contents there, and then the various chapters, and you see quite detailed. Then you go into a few cases and statutes, cases, and then statutes, and then right in, and statutory instruments, and then right into the main body copy. It's not a very heavy book. It runs to just over 260 pages in total. This is what we've said about the book, because I say these guides are very, very important for practitioners, both solicitors and counsel. We've called it a helpful guide for PI practitioners to the new legal framework pertaining to costs and funding. And we basically say this, as costs and funding are obviously at the core of personal injury claims, this is one of the most helpful books for personal injury practitioners to make its appearance in recent years. The publication by Jordan Publishing Limited is especially timely following the turbulence and the uncertainties created post-April 2013 by the changes in civil litigation generated in the wake of the Jackson reforms specifically, and of course we've also had the knock-on effect of legal aid reforms. In the words of the authors, a new world of costs and funding has now been created, and they're right about that. There's still a long way to go until we get some sort of modern approach, but at the moment we have to do with what we've got, and these books are extremely helpful in this really difficult, turbulent world of costs. The busy practitioner, they add, will need to become familiar with the new funding arrangements and alternatives, and the greater scope for the claimant to be charged for the work they, the claimants, benefit from. The practitioner, therefore, will need to know both the value of the claim and what it's going to cost to win it, so that a reasonable budget can actually be produced, specifically one that anticipates the court's view on proportionality. And I'm sure anybody who's been involved in these trials will be mindful of remembering what the judiciary have to say, because they do look very carefully at what our charges are, and they look to see how the whole thing has been handled. Sometimes they're pretty unhappy, I have to say, about what they see. The text, therefore, of this guide covers, from what we can determine, every pertinent aspect of costs and funding, from codes of conduct and funding options, and they're partly at the back of the book, to costs orders and offers to settle. Conditional fee agreements, which are often controversial, as we know, are dealt with in some detail as well. And the four appendices include both the Law Society Model Agreement and, interestingly, the judgment in the Andrew Mitchell case, which is still rumbling on. Obviously it's spawned a lot of conflicting but significant case law, so you've got to be pretty up to date on the Mitchell case and its aftermath. And for your further research, there are, of course, the relevant tables of cases, statutes and statutory instruments. As the title indicates from APIL, the new guide has been produced by the Association of Personal Injury Lawyers, and their hallmark is there throughout the work. They're the UK's leading association of claimant personal injury lawyers and dedicated to protecting the rights of injured people with the primary objective of promoting full and just compensation for all types of personal injury, and I'm very grateful to them for the huge amount of help they give us in terms of contentious litigation. So as a practical overview of the new legal framework, and easy to navigate when you're in a hurry, it is, I would say, the guide offers timely advice for the busy practitioner on how to adapt to this new regime and to thrive successfully within it. Also bearing in mind that work started under the old regime must also be made to comply with these changes. Now, both experienced and inexperienced lawyers, we feel, will certainly benefit from adding this comprehensive and authoritative text to their professional libraries. And you should note it's also now available as an e-book on the Jordan's website, and the publication date is cited at March 2014. This is the book again. Do have a look at the Jordan's website because there's a lot of information in there. That's the back of it. But the website will give you a lot. And just to remind you again, you can see costs orders, for instance. Very useful statement there of how we actually arrive at various things. You can see the structure of the chapters. There's a nice introduction to each chapter at the beginning. And as I say, the front of it, again, you can see who it's written by, Barker, Harvey and Marshall. They're to be congratulated on producing an excellent new guide. So thank you very much to all concerned. It's a very great help to us as practitioners. Bye-bye.